Hello and welcome. Namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Homes and roads washed away in Uttarakhand. Cloud burst, flash floods devastate Himachal Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi assures all possible assistance. Jerusalem categorically rejects UN probe which suggests Israel has been committing genocide in Gaza since October 2023. Continues Gaza offensive. And even after Israel strikes the Hamas in Doha, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio asks Qatar to stay as a mediator. Well, first up in Himachal Pradesh, extremely heavy spell of rain in the capital Shimla and surrounding areas has put life completely out of gear. Heavy overnight rain triggered floods and landslides in and around Cart Road and the traffic artery of Shimla. Many vehicles, including buses, were swept away and shops were damaged. In southwestern Bilaspur's Ghumarvi subdivision, the Sir Khad River was flowing at its highest level today. Authorities continue to monitor the situation. In Dharamshala, a landslide blocked the Dharamshala-Kangra National Highway 503. Restoration work is underway to get the road going again. While in Uttarakhand, the Weather Department has issued a warning for heavy to very heavy rainfall in the 7 districts today. In view of heavy downpour, schools are closed in Nainital, Dehradun, Chamoli and other districts. Continuous rain in the state has halted Kedarnath Highway after a boulder crashed down the hillside amid rain fury in Rudraprayag. And again, due to heavy rainfall, a cloudburst took place in Karligarh Sahasradhara at night. Rescue and relief operation of the district administration is on. It has shifted the affected people to safer places. And in Uttarakhand state capital Dehradun, the road near Tons River Bridge got damaged and washed away due to heavy rains in the region. Let's also show you what happened in Rishikesh. The water level of the Chandrabhaga River has gone up significantly, raising concern among locals and authorities. So with rains wreaking havoc in parts of the state, Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has taken stock of the situation in affected areas and assured of all possible help. Earlier, the Chief Minister briefed Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah. They were informed about the relief and rescue operations being carried out in the affected areas. Later, he also shared the information on X, saying that in this difficult time of disaster, we stand with the affected families with full commitment and are providing them with every possible assistance. India's Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated the second National Conference of Heads of Anti-Narcotics Task Force, that's the ANTF, in New Delhi on Tuesday. Themed United Resolve, Shared Responsibility. The conference is being organized by Narcotics Control Bureau. The two-day conference also serves as a strategic platform to reinforce Prime Minister Modi's commitment to a drug-free India and to formulate a roadmap to achieve this goal. Addressing the opening session, Home Minister Shah said that for a Viksit Bharat or developed India, we need to protect our youth from the melee of drugs.
ऐसा भारत जो हर क्षेत्र में समूचे विश्व में सर्वप्रथम होगा, ऐसा भारत जो पूर्णतः विकसित होगा, ऐसा भारत जिसकी सुरक्षा की दीवारें इतनी अभेद होगी कि जिसको लांघने की कोई कल्पना ही न कर सके। अगर ऐसे भारत की रचना करनी है तो हमारी युवा पीढ़ी को ड्रग के दूषण से बचाना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि किसी भी महान राज्य की संकल्पना, इसकी नींव उस देश की युवा पीढ़ी होती है।
A United Nations Commission for Inquiry concluded its probe on Tuesday on Israel's action in Gaza, blaming Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other top officials for incitement. The UN report cites examples of the scale of the killings, aid blockages, forced displacement and destruction of a fertility clinic to back up its genocide finding, adding its voice to rights groups and others who've reached the same conclusion. But Israel immediately said it categorically rejects the report, with the Foreign Ministry describing it as distorted and false and calling for the immediate abolition of this Commission of Inquiry. Israeli ambassador to UN in Geneva has called the report scandalous and fake, saying it had been authored by Hamas proxies.
Israel categorically rejects the libelous rant published today by this Commission of Inquiry. It spreads the malicious genocide narrative. The report diverges from the mandate of the Commission, yet again stressing their biased analysis. It has systematically dismissed Hamas's atrocities. Throughout the 72 pages of this paper that the COI presented, the COI promotes a narrative serving Hamas and its supporters in attempting to delegitimize and demonize the State of Israel.
Sweden on Tuesday called on its European Union partners to increase pressure on Tel Aviv after UN Commission of Inquiry concluded that Israel has committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza.
As regards today's news about the attack on Gaza City, we from the Swedish side are extremely worried, and we have been very clear from the very beginning when these plans were presented that any change by force of territory would be a breach of international law. And we are extremely worried about the situation in Gaza, and we mean that we need to put more pressure on the Israeli government to let humanitarian aid in, but also on Hamas.
Large plumes of smoke were seen rising in Gaza on Tuesday as Israel launched its long-awaited ground offensive on Gaza City. An Israel Defense Forces official said ground troops were moving deeper into the city towards its center, and that the number of soldiers would rise in coming days to confront up to 3,000 Hamas combatants. Meanwhile, Israel's military has issued evacuation orders for Yemen's Hodeidah port, saying it will attack there in the coming hours. And US Secretary of State Marco Rubio met Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani in Doha on Tuesday. After Israel's attack on Hamas, political leaders in Qatar last week drew widespread condemnation. Rubio called for Qatar to continue its role as a mediator between Israel and the Hamas to reach a ceasefire in the Gaza war, saying there was a very short window of time in which a deal could take place. Rubio was pessimistic about a ceasefire deal but said Qatar was in a unique position to help. Qatar and the United States are on the verge of finalizing an enhanced defense cooperation agreement. That's what Rubio informed about as well. Later, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio departed for London after a brief stop in Doha. Let's get to updates on the Ukraine conflict now. Well, Ukraine has said on Tuesday that one person was killed and at least 13 injured in the recent Russian strike on Zaporizhia region of the country. Ivan Fedorov, the head of the military administration in southeastern Ukraine's Zaporizhia region, further added that Russian forces carried out 10 strikes. Several buildings and vehicles were heavily damaged. NATO has launched a new military mission on Friday called Eastern Sentry to protect Europe's east after Russian drones crossed into Polish airspace last week. Latvia's President Edgars Rinkēvičs commented on the issue in a press conference.
What happened last week is something that I would say for me is very difficult to believe was accidental. If you have 19 plus drones flying into Poland, then as we discussed actually with President Stubb, there can be a couple of explanations: intentional, incompetence, or both. And all of three options are scary, frankly.
And US President Donald Trump is bringing a defamation and libel lawsuit against New York Times. Writing on his Truth Social platform, the US President informed about his $15 billion lawsuit against the newspaper in Florida. Trump accused the newspaper of lying about his family, business, the America First movement, MAGA, and the nation as a whole. He provided no evidence for his claims. US and Chinese officials said on Monday that they have reached a framework agreement to switch short video app TikTok to US-controlled ownership, though it will be confirmed in a Friday call between US President Trump and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. According to China's top trade negotiator Li Chenggang, the potential deal on TikTok, which counts 170 million US users, was a rare breakthrough in the month-long talk. The US has cited national security concerns to block shipments of semiconductors and other advanced technology to China and ban Chinese products that Washington has concluded could be used to spy on Americans or gather intelligence. German automakers made quite a splash at the International Motor Show in Munich last week. But today the event is over and market realities are back. First up, new information on EU policy for the sector. Lars Holter is with Deutsche Welle and is joining me from Berlin. Good evening, Lars. What are you hearing out of Brussels?
Thanks for having me. Well, after a really good week in Munich with lots of optimism and positive feedback on some of the new models, I'm not sure how excited German automakers are about how the new week now started. They did hope for a long time that despite all their efforts to focus much more on electric vehicles, that the European Union would give them a bit more time to enjoy and make money on the market for combustion engine cars. Now, one should know the EU has said for a while that combustion engine cars won't be allowed to be sold anymore after 2035. Too early for such a radical change of policy is what the automakers said. BMW boss Oliver Zipse said this policy would threaten the entire industry. Mercedes boss Ola Källenius said the policy idea needs a reality check. Well, it seems it's the auto bosses who now got a reality check. The EU, under leadership of EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, has now confirmed plans to stick to 2035, saying that entirely getting out of gas and diesel-powered cars by then is actually within reach and feasible.
But Lars, is that a reliable goal though? The EU has switched positions on that before as well, after all.
That's true, but Brussels makes it sound very much like they're finally set on a target date for a complete switch to electric mobility. Now, there are exceptions, of course, but they are few. The EU is planning to keep combustion engines on the road if they are part of a hybrid drive or as range extenders to otherwise mainly battery-powered cars. And one can only hope that the EU is absolutely sticking to their goals. After all, many industry experts have for a long time said that one reason why German and some other European car makers fell behind in electric vehicles over the past few years was in fact that they had never been forced to go all in on the technology. For too long, many auto executives saw battery-driven vehicles as a niche, as part of a broader market, while in other regions, political goals had been communicated much more clear. And not only in China, mind you, even in Norway, which is of course part of Europe, but it's not part of the European Union, even in Norway, they made it clear that a future without combustion engine cars was coming. And today, that market is by far leading in e-mobility on the continent.
Well, it is indeed time to wake up and smell the coffee where that is concerned. Lars, thanks so much for joining us from Berlin. Now let's take a look at some other stories making news around the world as well. Famous TV actress Jennifer Aniston has cautioned against the use of AI, saying there needs to be some regulations about its usage, calling it dangerous and reckless. Aniston was speaking with regard to the morning show of Apple TV Plus and, of course, fake news or deepfakes. The fourth season of the show, which focuses on the issue of deepfakes using AI, will be streaming on the 17th of September. Papua New Guinea marked its 50 years of independence on Tuesday. The event was marked with musical and cultural performances. Dressed in traditional clothes, citizens carried out parades through Sir John Guy's Stadium, representing 21 provinces and the autonomous region of Bougainville. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. 1,300 gifts received by Prime Minister Modi are to go under the hammer online starting Tuesday. India's trade deficit narrows to $26.49 billion in August this year, down from $27.35 billion in July.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, India and the US have reinitiated bilateral trade talks in New Delhi following the late Monday night arrival of US Assistant Trade Representative Brendan Lynch. He is holding a meeting with India's chief trade negotiator Rajesh Agarwal, who is also Special Secretary in the Department of Commerce. The discussions aim to advance the Bilateral Trade Agreement, or BTA, launched in March 2025. Focused on resolving US tariffs on Indian goods and boosting trade in various sectors, including services and manufacturing, the negotiators are targeting a first phase deal by November. In the meeting today, both the countries would try to make a basic framework of easing out tariff imposed on each other's goods and services. Earlier, both the countries had set a bilateral trade target of $500 billion by 2030. Mauritius Prime Minister Naveen Chandra Ramgoolam has called on President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan, or the President's estate, on Tuesday. Both the leaders agreed that the relations between our two countries are unique, rooted in our shared history, language, culture and values. The President expressed confidence that with the vast leadership experience of Prime Minister Ramgoolam, India and Mauritius' long-standing bilateral ties will further strengthen in the times to come. The Mauritius PM also visited the new Parliament building. He even paid tributes to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat and also paid a visit to Sadaiv Atal, the memorial of Bharat Ratna and former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Earlier, Prime Minister Ramgoolam also met the 15th Vice President of India, C.P. Radhakrishnan, at his, that is the Vice President's enclave. Indian Culture and Tourism Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has announced that over 1,300 gifts received by Prime Minister Modi are going under the hammer starting Tuesday in an online auction at pmmementos.gov.in. Addressing the 7th edition of the Prime Minister's Mementos e-auction in New Delhi, Shekhawat said the collection includes paintings, artifacts, sculptures, idols and sports memorabilia. Proceeds from the auction will fund key government initiatives, the Namami Gange mission. The minister also revealed that the previous edition raised over 50 crore Indian rupees for developmental efforts. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh has launched the dedicated online web portal on Tuesday for monitoring the progress of Special Campaign 5.0. The campaign aims to promote cleanliness, transparency and efficiency in governance. The launch took place during a meeting with nodal officers from various ministries and departments, including public grievances and appellate authorities, the Department of Administration, that is Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, is coordinating the campaign, which runs from the 2nd of October till the 31st. India's merchandise trade deficit has narrowed to $26.49 billion in August 2025, down from $27.35 billion in July, showing improvement in the country's external trade balance. According to data released by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, August witnessed a 10.1% decline in imports to $61.59 billion compared to the previous year, while exports increased by 6.7%, that is 6.7% to $35.1 billion. India's total exports during April to August 2025 have been focused on, in fact, estimated at $349.35 billion, registering a positive growth of 6.18%. Total imports during April-August 2025 are estimated at $390.78 billion, registering a growth of 2.49%. Now, there's some good news on the employment front. According to periodic labour force survey conducted by National Statistics Office, male employment rate in August 2025 hit a 5-month low. The key findings of the survey shows unemployment rate among male of age 15 years and above has declined to 0.5% in August 2025, the lowest level observed since April 2025. This is due to the fall in unemployment rate of male in urban areas from 6.6% in July 2025 to 5.9% in August 2025. The unemployment rate among rural males has also risen to 4.5% in August 2025, which is lower than the UR levels of previous 4 months observed for rural male. Overall, rural employment rate has declined successfully for 3 months in a row, from 5.1% in May 2025 to 4.3% in August 2025. In Nepal, collection of preliminary details of loss and damage incurred in the Federal Minister's quarters, along with the quarters of the Provincial Chief and Chief Minister in Lalitpur during the Gaza Z, that is Gen Z protests that had begun there. A total of 27 well-equipped buildings were constructed for federal ministers, chairperson and vice chairperson of the National Assembly and deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, which was completely torched and vandalized. The Federal Secretariat has informed that maintenance and other work will not move further until the damage assessment report is received. Meanwhile, the price of gold has reached a record high in Nepal on Tuesday. According to the Federation of Nepal Gold and Silver Dealers Association, the price of gold went up by 1,900 rupees per tola and has reached 217.100 per tola. The price of silver is also soaring to new heights, reaching 2,595 per tola. And now let's get you some sporting updates as well. Well, the International Cricket Council on Tuesday rejected the Pakistan Cricket Board's demand to remove match referee Andy Pycroft from the panel of officials for the ongoing Asia Cup. The PCB has filed a complaint with the ICC alleging that Pycroft asked Pakistan captain Salman Ali Agha at the time of the toss not to shake hands with his Indian counterpart, that is Surya Kumar Yadav. ICC has cleared the air through an official letter. They explained that it was actually the Asian Cricket Council officials on the ground who informed Pycroft about the no handshake policy at the toss. Real Madrid are poised for a UEFA Champions league opener against Marseille at the iconic Santiago Bernabeu tonight. Real Madrid and Marseille's first meeting in 16 years comes on the first match day of the 2025-26 Champions League phase. All eyes will be on Xabi Alonso as he spearheaded his first Champions League match in charge of Real Madrid. The pressure is on the new bosses to lead the Spanish guidance bloc to European glory after they crashed out of the competition at the hands of Arsenal in last season's quarterfinals. Fit again, England midfielder Jude Bellingham has been named in Real Madrid's squad. Real Madrid's first test comes against Marseille. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code, download the app. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.